This is Frank film. It's the story of my life
1972,
from the beginning up
71,
to the present and
70,
into the future.
69,
Perhaps
68,
considering the speed of it, I
67,
should call it a
66,
fast Frank film.
65,
Basically
64,
what it is that I've been
63,
saving images for the
62,
past 5 or 6 years.
61,
All the things
60,
that appeal to me because I
59,
like them,
58,
and sometimes I like them
57,
just because they look nice,
56,
and other times
55,
I like them because they mean
54,
something special to me.
53, 52,
I'll start at the beginning. I was
50,
born in
49,
Key West, Florida.
48,
My father was in a naval station there.
46,
and
45,
I was the first
44,
of 5
September
kids.
6th, 1944.
And it was,
Me.
I guess a
Moi.
good time to be born.
Mouris.
The war was almost
Francis
over.
Peter
It was
Mouris.
1944.
Michael Joseph Mouris.
And I enjoyed being the
Catherine
first
Jean
of 5
Mouris.
kids because
Philip
that means I
James
got
Mouris.
spoiled for 5
Susan
years.
Patricia Mouris.
And I had a very strict
Saint Francis,
religious
Saint
upbringing,
James,
which I feel
Saint Camillus,
helped me in my
Saint
work
Jerome,
later. It gave me
Saint Agnes, Jesus,
a kind
Mary,
of
and Joseph,
asceticism,
Pope Pius,
Calvinism,
Pope John,
or
Pope Paul,
almost a Protestant
the
work ethic,
Ascension,
even though it was
the
a super
Assumption,
Catholic
Ash
environment.
Wednesday,
And
Easter,
we lived
Christmas,
in
fine
rather
furniture,
comfortable middle
fully
class
lined, finely detailed,
surroundings.
fully
Things got
padded,
better and better each year.
foam-filled,
Both
free
my
form,
parents had been brought up
fantastically
during the
functional,
Depression.
finely
Things were
tuned,
sort of scarce
fully
in their
guaranteed,
childhood. And they
functional
both
and
worked
yet
very
smart,
hard while we were
finest
growing up.
materials,
Each year
fully
that I grew
washable,
up, things got
leaf
better, and
lined,
we had more
four
things around
channel,
the house. And
full frequency,
I enjoyed
AM,
having
FM,
things around, and I liked
fiberglass,
looking at them.
Formica,
And I still do, so I
flagstone,
saved them a lot.
flecked marble,
And one of the things I really liked then, and I
cloak
still
bed,
like now, is
full of
food.
suds, foams you clean,
It's one of my
4
favorite
burners,
things because
fully
you can look
automatic,
at it,
frost
and
is
then you
off
can
the
eat it
pumpkin,
and enjoy it,
fried egg,
and you sort
frying
of bring
egg,
it inside you.
flying egg, fresh
And
hash,
there
and home
just
fried,
is never enough
fruit
food to
cups,
satisfy
fruit
me.
cones,
And I like
fridge,
animals.
frozen TV dinners.
I always had a dog,
Fido,
or a fish,
Pal,
or
Rocky,
a favorite elephant at
King,
the zoo.
Lucky,
We had a parakeet,
Michi,
and
Langford,
I have
Fritz,
a dog now.
Fluffy,
And I think I'll
Feathers,
probably always have some kind of
Fleas,
animal around.
Fetch Fritzy, first grade,
And
first day of school,
let's see.
fine cut, filter
I guess
tip,
I'm thinking
fully
about the
ventilated.
time I started to go
Philip
to
Morris.
school, and
Find 'em, feel
there was
'em,
smoking
forget
in the
'em.
back of the
Food for
bus,
thought.
and
French
swearing
fries,
and
fried
telling
onions,
jokes,
fish
and
and chips,
eating and drinking,
frosty
and
fraps,
eating
Frankfurters,
some more.
Fizzies,
I think one of
Fanta,
my favorite
Fritos,
times was
Big Newtons,
lunchtime,
Filberts,
just to
fruit
see what was in
fondue,
my lunchbox.
fresh milk,
And
fennel,
desserts were about the
fenugreek,
best thing there
flambe,
was.
flank steak, fritters, flapjacks,
Food just
flapdoodle,
constantly is there.
flan, fish
From
balls,
an early age,
flesh
I
wrap,
always wanted to go work at my
flat-
father's gas
flat
station. I
tire,
used to cry and
flat
cry and
space,
say, "Daddy, please let me
four-wheel
come and
drive,
work in your gas
four-door,
station."
four
Well,
on
he
the floor,
finally let me, and I used to go and
442,
work there
fuel
every
injection,
Saturday when
flat
school
out,
got out.
foot
Then there got
stomping,
to be a
fender
point where I
skirts,
didn't want to go, and I
fifth
almost
wheel,
used to cry to stay
flywheel,
home. But
liver,
I'd become
flashers,
enamored of automobiles,
fins,
not
fender
mechanically.
benders,
I
Ferraris,
couldn't do anything
Fords,
to fix them, but
Phaetons,
I
filling
just liked
station,
designing them.
filler up,
And then I had
fly
the
by
usual
night, flag
teenage
down,
sexual
fleshy,
fantasies,
full-blown
which I
floozies,
won't go into
fooling
too
around,
specifically,
friction,
either visually or
firm
verbally.
planks, funny bone,
And
phallus, falsies,
I discovered
foam
other
rubber,
people
forbidden
at this
fruit,
point.
finger dew,
I had a
fish
number
and
of
finger pie.
crushes
I love you,
on girls in
liebe dich,
school.
je t'aime.
And
First love, first
for the
base.
first time I started relating
Joan,
to people
Barbara,
outside me. I'd always
Sherry,
been very private up to
Lois,
that point.
Ruth,
Never shared
Rosie,
anything with
Mary,
anyone outside
Julie,
my family. But
Ellen,
just
Evelyn,
one girl after
Anne
another,
Marie,
I'd fall madly in
Geraldine,
love with
Louise,
some
Constance,
feature or some group
Jane,
of features,
Marianne,
and follow
Elaine,
her everywhere,
Susan,
and in
Gay,
general be a pest.
Barbara,
But
Ann, Betty,
sometimes
Mary,
I succeeded
Jane, Mary
in
Ellen,
accomplishing what I
Ratsy,
wanted
Bobby,
to.
Joan,
And
Christine,
I thought that it was
Pamela, Kathy,
it was
Mary,
it was nice to be
Bobo,
around
Lansing,
girls, and I thought
Sandra,
maybe someday I
Rose,
would do
Peggy,
something, say
Matilda,
in
Theodora,
fashion
Tammy,
or
Valerie,
makeup or
Carol,
something
Carol,
that would allow
Caroline,
me to constantly
Caroline the
work
Great,
on them and
Caroline
shape them in the
Gertrude
image I had of
Allforce,
them.
Alphonse,
I liked working with my
Hoopsie,
hands. I thought
finger,
that whatever
fingers,
it was I
finger
eventually
names,
ended up doing,
five-finger
it would be with
exercise,
my hands.
fingerboard, fiddle around,
Because I
fit
felt
as a fiddle,
that
fiddle
even though
battle,
I
finger in
saw
the
things
pie,
with my
finely
eyes, I was
fashioned,
manually
firmly
inclined.
fleshy, flesh toned,
I was very
flesh colored,
involved
full of grace,
after a while
forceful,
in
flawless,
clothes,
flexible,
how I looked
faultless,
to other people.
fling about,
I was very
fling off,
concerned
fling
with
down,
the kinds of
fitted
things
glove,
one should
forced
have that
entry,
you should put
fly
on.
away, far
And
and
I was
away,
concerned with
far
the
out,
social graces
fop,
like
foppish,
dancing. I took
fopper,
all our dance
frills,
classes
frocks,
very
furs,
seriously.
finery,
I wore my most
frou-frous,
outrageous
flats,
outfits to
fleet
school
footed,
dances.
fancy footwork,
And
foxtrot,
then it was
flamenco,
time to go to
frog
college,
prince,
and I
frosh, freshman,
went to college,
fresh
and I
faced
started
fathead, full of it,
getting a
thinky,
rather swell
froggy
impression
redundant,
of how
fresh
great I
milk,
was.
frosh,
That faded,
fraternal,
and I
fraternity,
was
free association,
not too
free as a
successful
bird,
at sports.
free
Then I got
alongside
into
ship, free
just sort of
thinking, free
socializing
amazing.
with other people for the first time, rather than just tracking down one person and going after them. I just tried to be with people socially, and that opened up another whole world for me. Up until then, I'd been a loner or someone who chased one girl, but at college I sort of learned to talk to other people. Although I was still pretty studious, I spent most of my time studying, wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do. I thought I would be a teacher. I had no idea at that point that I'd end up in graphic design as a graduate student. I thought maybe I would write letters to people as a profession. That was something I enjoyed doing. But while I was in college, I had to major in something, so I studied architecture, and I got carried away with it for a couple of years. I thought that was really what I was meant to do. And yet, I slowly began to realize that you can't build a building all by yourself. So I got wooed away from architecture just before I graduated and decided that art was the answer. And I would be a painter or a sculptor, because then you can do the thing entirely yourself. I would be the new Andy Warhol or whatever. There was a brief political phase in college that must have lasted 3 weeks.
For God and country, for freedoms.
Then came a very confusing time. I didn't know where all this was leading up to, and I didn't know where I should go to graduate school or what would happen. Everything just sort of stopped.
Fed up.
And it just sort of ground to a halt.
Nothing.
And then slowly I just sort of rebuilt myself. I decided to go to graduate school and learn something vaguely mechanical, that is graphic design, but it was also visual and aesthetic. And through that I get interested in photography, and then suddenly through photography I get interested in filmmaking, specifically animation, and all of a sudden there it was. That was what I really wanted to do, was to work with animated images and make my world with them. And so for my 3 years in graduate school, I just played around with different ways to animate different kinds of things, and hopefully they would be things that hadn't even been animated before. So that was about halfway through my great saving up period of all these images, and that led to my fantasies of what would happen when all of that came together, and I was sending my films to international film festivals and winning awards, being a fat cat surrounded by people who would light my cigarettes and offer me a drink.
Academy Awards.
Yes, that was a great film. We can't wait for your next one. And
first class all the way.
That's about as far into the future as I can fantasize. It only leaves me
first and foremost.
Feeling satisfied because I think I can make it now. And I just sort of think of all the things that have been in my life so far, and they all just sort of come flowing over me,
54,
and
55, 56, 57,
they sort of present themselves to you in your recollections of what I talked about.
63, 64,
and all I can say is this is the beginning, this is the first film you'll see, and there'll be plenty of others to follow, and hopefully they'll all be as
sound by
different as
Tony
this one.
Schwartz.
And
Produced by Caroline Alforce Morris.
Specific to say
Created
about
by Frank Mouris.
This one just sort of preparing you for that.